Okay, so here are my thoughts on Chapter 5 story. I feel like Chapter 5 story had really good cutscenes. It had a good sort of plot as well. I kind of feel like it was trying to shoehorn a lot of characters in, I'll be honest. We basically got to see every character since the start of the game being involved in some which way. Piper had the getaway driver sort of role, and she was really cool. That whole cutscene of her basically being baby driver and like destroying the pursuing cars by just outmaneuvering them, that was fucking sick. We saw Caesar as well. We saw basically all the Sons of Caledon. Bernice and Lighter played a very small role. Victoria Housekeeping Company, it was such a shame that they weren't voiced. They kind of appeared at the very end for the Avengers type scene. We got, obviously, the Cunning Hares. They played a big part in the beginning, getting us connected with Perlman, going to the Outer Ring with Belle, putting things into motion. I did like how kind of cool the squads were. Like, when the Cunning Hares and the Section 6 had their kind of standoff moment in the very beginning, I thought that was really cool. The Cunning Hares wanted to defend Belle and Wise, and Section 6, you know, would want to take them away in order to question them more about the whole thing. What I really like about Zenless Zone Zero, and I think what this chapter really kind of solidifies for me, is that this is a living, breathing world. Every character has their own kind of motivations. I feel like that the characters in this game feel very much like independent and very, very like believable, lively. So I like that a lot. Some points of the story that maybe I didn't like too much. I think there's only like two. And one of it is not even like a point I dislike. It's just a point that I was like kind of, you know? One point that I didn't like is Nicole just having connections with Miyabi. I felt like that came out of nowhere. It didn't really, like, obviously, it makes sense. And that's like credit to Zenless Zone Zero's world building and how they developed Nicole, how they've showed Nicole so far. She's very resourceful. She's very street smart. She's very, very cunning. And yeah, you would expect her to be very well connected. But it's just kind of nothing was ever hinted at it. And it seemed to kind of just be like, oh, well, I mean, she's well connected. So I feel like maybe some more groundwork could have been laid out to sort of explain that more. But it's not that big of an issue. It felt like it came out of nowhere. But at the same time, it's not very unbelievable either. What else is there? I feel like Juyen's relationship with the Proxy, like, I understand that, you know, Belle / Wise have lied to her for, like, basically the entire time they knew them, which is mostly just, like, what, their interaction in chapter, I think it's 1.5? No, 2.5, right? With Juyen and Qingyi. And I just, I don't know. Juyen got really mad. Juyen got really pissed. It felt like she was like Belle and Wise's like partner or something. You know what I mean? Like they got really like annoyed that they would like Belle and Wise would lie to them. And I felt like, I don't know, their relationship didn't feel that close. So it kind of felt like out of nowhere. But that's just like a small, very, very small minor nitpick. And I didn't really mind it like too much. I thought that it was kind of amusing. But at the same time, it's believable too. Like, obviously someone that you thought was close, your friend, was lying to you the whole time, kind of hurt you. It would kind of like make you feel some type of way. So I understand. It just felt like, I don't know. I just I didn't really expect them to have that kind of relationship, but I guess maybe with the trust events and all this time from 2.5 to chapter 5, you can kind of like, I guess, feel that these characters are a little closer. But let me take a look at some of the comments here. Tying all the threads from each chapter together. True, absolutely. I think every chapter was referenced in some way, not just with the characters, but just the plot points from every chapter, which is a very good, very, very good part of the story, 100%, right? The sacrifice that was introduced in chapter 2. Chapter 1 had Sarah, right, as well as Perlman. Chapter 2.5 had the introduction of Bringer, and now he was shown to be kind of like the villain of this chapter. Chapter 1.5 is Hollow Zero, but that's also like semi-introduction to Section 6. Chapter 3 was with the Ballet Twins Tower. They brought that and they incorporated that in. They needed to get in touch with high connected, high society people, right? And Victoria Housekeeping Company obviously has those type of connections, so very cool to get them connected to the head of the Hoshimi family, Soichiro, right? God, there's just so much. What else was there? Chapter 4 was Blazewood. Chapter 4 was the Sons of Caledon. Obviously played a very big role in Piper being their getaway driver, and Caesar sort of bringing Miyabi, which was really cool, towards the end fight. Chapter 4.5, you would say, is like Section 6 and lighter. That was tied in as well with Nullface having revealed to be working with Sarah, as well as White Noise. White Noise giving a name to the hacker in the very first chapter. I didn't expect that, but I always suspected like that hacker either escaped or he was able to weasel his way out, right? And that he was probably working under a bigger agenda. And I'm really happy that that was kind of like confirmed in this chapter. It really gives me confidence and makes me feel good that like I'm paying attention to the story. I'm being engaged, and there's a reward to that. There's a reward to me paying attention, and it's because it will come up. It will come up eventually. And so that's always been like a very, very strong point in Zenless Zone Zero story. 100%. World building is excellent. Great. Music kicking in. Absolutely. They had great music in this chapter. 100%. Yes. Juyen got jealous a little bit, right? I saw that coming. Really? Julie is just too naive, too pure. Yeah. It was cute though, right? It was like she just like takes the 1,000 Denny's, you know, she takes like the dollar bills from her wallet and just slowly hands it to Ching Yi. She's like, "You won the bet, fine." Jane Doe didn't really feel that pivotal. She felt she is probably one of the only characters in this chapter that really felt kind of shoehorned in, right? Like, Jane didn't really do too much, but she made an appearance anyway, right? No cutscenes with Jane. So there are certain characters that just didn't really get that much of a spotlight, right? Definitely Bellabog took a backseat. Jane Doe took a backseat. Bernice and Lighter took a backseat, right? But they did appear. They did make some appearances. 2.5 was an attempt to steal Remains of Sacrifice, though. True. You're right. Storytelling of ZZZ, 8.5 out of 10. I think storytelling is good. I think storytelling is great. And I really like the little sort of twist or the reveal at the end. That was really cool. The reveal at the end was very, very sick. I liked the Bell and Wise using their expertise, their knowledge, and their abilities as a proxy a little more actively, showing them jumping through a portal with Eos, right? So they're both like controlling Eos as well as getting out there. And it seems like, right, that they might be immune or something. Maybe they're artificial, maybe they're androids, maybe they're a lot stronger than how they appear. Whatever they showcased there, the fact that they were able to withstand that explosion, that was cool. That was a cool reveal. And that is something that they've kind of hinted at the beginning of this chapter, the ocular implants. Because prior to this chapter, Bell and Wise would always, like, you know, their eyes would flash whenever they're connecting through HDD. You don't know if that's like a property of the world or if that's something proxies do. But now it's pretty much confirmed, like, this is something about Bell and Wise. Bell and Wise have these ocular implants, and for whatever reason, it allows them to be more in touch with electronical devices, obviously, right? Maybe do some very fast calculations. Maybe that's a secret of their faith and ability, right? As well, it, I don't know. Maybe it's an indication of them not being human. I don't know, right? That's cool. This is something that's like going to keep you engaged, that's going to be talked about in the future, right? And so you paying attention, again, is just like, it's going to come back. It's going to come back. It's going to pay off in a reward sort of way. So yeah, all in all, storytelling in Zenless, I wouldn't even say 8.5. I would say like 9, 9.5. Like, it's very good. I like how they always drop the breadcrumbs. They come back to it later, right? They always sort of like call back to these moments that, you know, it really rewards you for being engaged and paying attention. Where I guess I'm kind of not too, maybe a little disappointed on, I feel like Miyabi, her demon blade, I kind of wish they just elaborated it a little more. I get the implication. The implication is that the demon blade, the sword that Miyabi wields, is empowered basically by the blood of her ancestors, right? Maybe every wielder of the blade must slay their kin. I don't know. Because Miyabi does that to her mother. And that in turn makes it more powerful. I'm not too sure. But it's you know, they did a little bit. I feel like they didn't really dive too deep into Miyabi's character. I'm glad we didn't get like this cringe ass aventurine sort of schizo moment where Miyabi's talking like future Miyabi and child Miyabi. I'm really glad we didn't do that. But at the same time, I think we could have got maybe a little more. I think that was probably like the only point in the story where it was kind of like, I'm not too sure. That said, Miyabi had plenty of badass moments. Her power, her sort of weight on the world feels super justified, super like it makes sense. You know what I mean? As a Void Hunter, she's really, really cool. So amazing character, very, very cool. I truly liked all of it. I just didn't understand what was going on with Sarah taking the sword, like what she did with it exactly. Yeah, I don't know either. Oh, well, no, she extracted it, right? She extracted something from the sword, put it in the elixir 07, and basically injected it into Bringer, who you know, would become whatever that thing was. I think it's called a sacrifice. I'm not too sure. They give ideas for speculation. Yeah. If you look back at the cutscene, Bell and Wise look stunned after tanking the explosion. Yeah, maybe they're not aware of their power. Maybe they think they're weak, but maybe they're not. Maybe, I don't know. That would be kind of weird, right? That'd be a very interesting angle for them to go down. But the fact that they didn't acknowledge it at the end or talk about it later leads me to think that they understand what their sort of abilities are. But I don't know. Oh, yeah, Bringer's reveal to being a cultist. The fact that he is essentially part of the Order, and we finally see the Order and a little bit of what they believe in, a little bit of their phrasing. Like, I think they say, refine me, creator refine me. That was cool. That was cool because, again, it's a reward. If you paid attention to the virus busting event, the one with Spacebar and the, you know, the lore drops there, it was great. You know, that was cool to see that, like, the Order is a thing, right? And that they're going to go deeper into that. I was kind of expecting, one thing that I thought was kind of missing was I was expecting Haramasa to kind of like have his hollow or his ethereal sort of roots, you know, his background to kind of come into play here. And it might be in his character story. It might. But I was expecting a little more of that. Because Haramasa's animated short or whatever, his teaser trailer, his demo, sorry, revealed to us that Haramasa very likely underwent child experimentation with mixing like ethereal human like genes, DNA. He should be like a surviving sort of experiment. And it's a miracle, or it's not very common, but he survived for a long time with this sort of like this combination, right? I was expecting more of that. I didn't get that, but it's probably in his agent story, so who knows. But yeah, overall, Zenless Zone Zero, Chapter 5, I would say is a solid, I would say it's an 8 out of 10. You know, it didn't knock me off my socks, right? Knock my socks off, whatever the fuck. But it was solid, good storytelling. I'm excited for what's to come. You know, I feel like It might have been rushed in some areas, a lot of shoehorning here and there. But overall, just great storytelling, great characters, interaction, right? Great plot reveals, great cutscenes, great music, solid 8 out of 10, maybe even an 8.5, maybe even an 8.5 out of 10 altogether. Okay, just a very good, solid chapter, very cool, very exciting too. You know, with all the payoffs. So yeah, I would say 8.5 is pretty fair. Yeah, it was rushed. Yeah, I would imagine it is rushed because you have to take into account the fact that everyone, all hands are on deck. Okay, all hands are on deck to sort of rework this game and re-release this game. That's what this version was. This patch was essentially a full re-release. It was reworking the entire game system. It was putting in a crazy character like Miyabi. It was letting you do all the ultis, putting in way more endgame, reworking the beginning parts of the story so that you don't have to do the TV mode. This was a full rework patch. It was a re-release. For what it is, they did a really good job. But anyway, those are my thoughts on Zenless Zone Zero's Chapter 5 story. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I try to go live every day, okay? And I'm trying 6 p.m. Pacific. Watch me live, twitch.tv/Rednu23. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace.